Good morning, Sunday folks. How's everyone doing today? Mars, how are you doing?
Still hot as fuck, and I don't mean
Yeah.
appearance-wise, although I am looking kind of nice today. I'm going to give myself that flex.
Yeah.
It is still 68 and humid and sticky, and I just need Halloween weather, please. Please, if you or somebody you know can control the weather, please, I just want spooky weather.
I've got a couple of envelopes here. I will mail you some really nice spooky weather. Not only will I give you some of like the cold and like I'll make sure to put some of like the crisp fall smell in there, and I'll maybe even put like a little bit of like spooky fog in there because that's definitely the vibe going on here in Portland right now. So
nice.
Yeah, it's
jealous.
Beautiful. Well, it's Sunday morning. I'm going to go ahead and say hi to everyone in the chat. First of all, I want to say hello to Sheena because she's first here in the chat.
She was here at like 9 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, like I literally like set everything up and then she's in here. She knows what we're going to be screaming about today. I wore my Saga shirt. You can kind of see
my
you
did?
I did.
We were talking backstage for 10 minutes and I'm just now noticing that.
It's kind of, I mean, I don't know. I should probably like, yeah, so you can see kind of my Saga shirt here. So we'll definitely be talking about that. So hello. January is spend all dumb bitch money on Saga. It's true. I'll go ahead and I'll talk about that in a second. Sam's Tangled Web said he couldn't be here, but hello. Hopefully you watch on the rewind. If you are, hello. I hope you had a good day. JT, hello. Also couldn't stay. I see how it is, folks. You all need to stay. Niall, hello, everyone. TM Nerdy Travis, how's it going? And Scott, who is doing Inktober, so I know that you're in the middle of drawing right now. Been loving all of the posts. I actually got to hang out with Scott yesterday. Spoiler alert, one of the local donut shops here ended up posting something. Hey, we partnered with the movie company, I forget, is it Warner Brothers? And it was like, hey, we're giving out free tickets to Dune. Not only is it a free ticket to Dune, but it's going to be 2 weeks early. We're going to give you free tickets to Dune to see it 2 weeks early. Scott totally did due diligence, woke up early, got there on time, was second in line. And then I was not on time because I was sleeping and I did not get these early tickets. But I think I have a hookup. I might be able to get some tickets. So we'll see. I might be seeing Dune a week or so early. So yeah, very excited about that. James, hello. Afternoon, Jen and Mars. Joram. Is it Joram? Or could it be like is it Jorem? I really need to know. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. Is that how the song goes? I don't know. Super Stick Boy. Good morning. What do you call it when guys spend dumb bitch money?
Listen, dumb bitch money does not have a binary at all.
It's gender inclusive. I think so. Yeah. 100%. Hello to James Perez, and then hello to John Stout. Hi, Austin. Popping in quick to say hello. Have a great show. Thank you. Hopefully you watch on the rewind. Miss So, hello. Afternoon, ladies and chat. And then Rob, one of my friends. Hello, Comic Book G-Spot. Hope you're doing well. Reading comics while black. Cheers. Queen G says, how's it going, ladies as well? Hello to Queen G. Absolutely adore her. Hope you're both doing well. And let's see here. Azorus Tiger. Good morning, good people. JG, good morning, Jen and Mars. Jennifer also got to meet Doggo. Yes, I got to meet a beautiful doggo that loves to give kisses. Yeah, so that was really fun. That was, I hate to say, that was probably my favorite part, is I got to meet a dog. Sorry. Hello to Darren. Perfect pronunciation the first time. Joram. Excellent. Okay. Let's talk about the news. Let's talk about like the big, for me, elephant in the room. I know for you too, the big elephant in the room that got announced after 3 years. It's been 3 years. The last issue of Saga, issue 54, came out in July of 2018. And we are now in October 2021. It's been over 3 years. Saga's back, baby.
I'm so, like, I could cry. I honestly want to start crying.
Yeah.
I'm so ridiculously excited. Now I don't have to bully BKV when I see him in 2 weeks
can
at
still
Baltimore
bully him.
Comic Con.
You
I'm
can
gonna
be
be
like,
listen,
give me issue 55.
where was it? Where was it? You told me a year and it's been 3. What the hell, man? So Saga is coming. Oh, these earphones are awful today. Saga is coming back. I am so ridiculously excited. I need it. I need it 100%. I literally got the text from you that was just Mars. And before you had even said what it was just 3 things of Mars. Before you even said what it was, I knew in my soul. It's like I knew Saga was back, because I feel like that is the one thing that would get you really excited. Either that or the X-Men is coming into the MCU. I feel like those are the 2 things that would do it for you.
Or like a Swamp Thing movie or something.
But like it's been a long time coming. And then social media immediately erupted. I got a million more messages from people. But I think one of like the most bittersweet things about this announcement is like everybody just showing their love and support for this book, because to me, Saga is that one book that both comic readers and non-comic readers are like really love and connect with. So social media was popping off. Everybody immediately is like, time to do our Saga reread before it comes back in January, which yes, I am on that dumb bitch train. But I think too, it was like seeing people that I'm friends with that I know don't really read comics and read them very, very casually, like might pick up 1 or 2 a year if they're lucky, posting about Saga and being excited about its return. And it just proves that this is one book that I feel like no other book has been able to touch, because of how widespread it has become, because of how mainstream it has become, for lack of a better word, and how it's been able to kind of touch everybody out there.
It's definitely it's the comic book that I feel like I recommend the most, for sure. It ends up on every single like listicle of mine, where I'm like, if I had to rate Image Comics, if I had to like everything, it's one of my, alongside Sandman, it's definitely one of my favorite series. And I think it is time for a reread. I did like a video, like kind of recapping just like the first volume.
First videos.
It was one of my first videos. So if anyone, after this hasn't learned about Saga and wants to learn a little quick snippet, there you go. That's for you. I really would like to talk more about this book. I know that, like you said, a lot of people are doing rereads. It's 9 volumes and 54 issues right now. This is supposed to be the first arc of Saga, the first half, and so hopefully we get another 54 issues. And one of the things that I would really love to see is, because for Berserker and for Spawn, these have been some of the best-selling comics, like single issues. King Spawn and then Berserker have been some of the best-selling in the last couple of years. I would really love to see everyone go into their local comic book shop, pre-order the first issue. Brian K. Vaughan, even when he announced all of this, was like, we're not doing a whole bunch of variant covers. I don't know if they'll even
Saga's
be doing...
never done. Saga's done very few and far between variants. They did like 1 or 2 or 3 variants in the very beginning for the first issue.
Yep.
I know number 8 has that ghost variant that they were doing when Image was doing ghost variants for a lot of their titles, but other than that, Saga's never had variant covers.
No. So I'm really hoping that like people, especially all of the people who maybe like read Saga because they went to their library, or maybe borrowed a copy from a friend, or maybe like they bought this book from Barnes Noble or Books A Million and like just have a copy of the first volume of Saga. I really hope that everyone goes and gets volumes 1 through 9. I really hope everyone like rereads it, and we collectively as a comic book community all make sure that by January 26th, Saga is on our pull list. Double check, make sure Saga's on your pull list, make sure your local comic book shop knows that you want it. And I would really love to see Saga issue 55 be the best-selling book. Like, that's what I would really love to see. Is I would love to see, like, how we like saw that breakdown chart of like how much the comic book industry has grown via dollar amount. Okay, a lot of it is because of graphic novels. I would love to see single issues kill it, because Saga is back. Saga's going to be on our pull list. So that's 100%. What I really want to see.
100%.
So time for a reread. If I need to do Saga bedtime story for everyone, then so be it. But I need everyone to read Saga for sure. I really hope everyone in the chat can like sound off and tell me, have you read Saga? What volumes have you read? How many times I've read the whole series?
Do
like
you like
3 or 4
Saga?
times.
Do you not like Saga? Because listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have met 2 people in my life that do not like this book, and both of those people have turned out I can't trust. So I feel like that's a telltale on character. As if a person likes Saga, then they're a good person.
Yeah.
But if you don't, that's okay too, I guess.
I know I've talked about it before, but there was one time when I was working at the comic shop, and I was, of course, because Saga was the book that I would hand sell all the time if people haven't read it. And I was like selling it, and I described Saga as it's Romeo and Juliet in space. And the person was like, ew, and put it away. And I'm just like, I have failed as like someone who recommends comics. So I feel like it is still kind of like Romeo and Juliet in space, but without all like the shitty parts. And it's a beautiful love story. So much more than that. Oh man, there's a couple people in the chat who have never read it or have only read the first volume. And folks, let's read it because it's so good. Any other news that's on your mind, on your heart?
Well, NYCC was this week, so that's why we got that huge, massive Saga announcement. And NYCC is really the biggest comic book convention that we've had since the pandemic. So we did not get San Diego Comic Con this year, but NYCC was on in full force. And let me tell you, I was feeling some serious con FOMO. I know I'm going to one in 2 weeks, but I was feeling the FOMO so hard. It has been so long since I've been in a convention center amongst my peers, and I just wanted it so bad. But this convention was a little bit different from what I heard from people. So this one, they really were limiting tickets, and they were limiting how many people were allowed to get in, which for a lot of people, it actually sounded like a really good thing, because normally with NYCC, and this is why I will never go to NYCC, is people are packed in like sardines. You can't get anywhere. You can't walk. You can't see things properly. And for me, that's just like, what's the point? What is the point of all that anxiety if I can't get around and do what I want to do? But apparently that was not the case. Apparently, too, a lot of the major publishers were not there this year, so we didn't see Marvel there. DC wasn't there. So from what I've heard, a lot of the smaller publishers like Aftershock and Mad Cave and Scout and all that, they really got to come out in full force, and it really did feel like a show about indie publishing. Which makes me really, really happy. And I wish we could see that more from a lot of these bigger conventions, because I know at shows that I go to, it's typically like that. But I also go to smaller shows like Baltimore Comic Con and Awesome Con and things like that. So kind of made me happy to see that.
I would say that, in the before times, like pre-pandemic, going to comic book conventions, going to comic book conventions, I found a love for some of the smaller ones because for that very reason. Like I remember going to MegaCon a couple years ago, and just trying to walk through Artist Alley was annoying because I think that sometimes people just don't have that self-awareness. So they will literally stop in the middle of an aisle, or they will like,
hate that.
A group will be like, oh, hey, haven't seen you. And they'll just like, 6 or 7 people all wearing like big costumes in the middle of an aisle.
With their strollers. That is the bane of my existence. Listen, I had this conversation with my partner the other day. What is the point of taking a baby to a Comic-Con? First of all, they ain't going to remember anything. Second of all, your stroller is just getting my way. If you want extra storage for the things that you buy, it's called a rolly book bag. I do it too. It's fine. I mean, it's right up there with the people that take infants to Disney World. You're spending all this money, and that baby ain't going to remember Mickey Mouse. Yeah. There's no reason for it. Okay, folks, just get the strollers out of Artist Alley, please.
I think what it is I think it's really for the parents, because they're like, I need to go. I can't get a babysitter.
I was going to say, find a babysitter.
Yeah. But I was going to say that is also why I have very much made a conscious choice to not have children, is because I am a selfish human being, and I'm just
Same.
like, I need to
Big
go to a
same.
comic book convention
And be
and
like, you
yeah.
want me to share my toy money so that way I can buy a tiny version of me toys?
Yeah.
No.
A tiny version of me.
No.
Toys. No.
I
And you
will
can't
be-
play with the big girl ones either.
I will be the cool aunt who will buy toys occasionally for my nieces and my nephews. And as soon as that niece and or nephew gets really, really annoying, I will call up my brother and sister. Please take back your child. I am done and I've had my fun for the day.
Wow.
I have a very strong opinion on children, for
You
those of you that did not know.
Yeah, you clearly do. But I do get it. I think that it comes down to that self-awareness, right? Where it's like, don't hang out. There should be like a comic convention etiquette video for like, I don't know. Maybe did I just announce a new video? Like, are we gonna do something?
You might be onto something. You might be onto something.
But I do, you know, that's one reason why I do appreciate the smaller cons, is because I feel like they're a little bit more intimate. Like, you do get to like talk to people a little bit more. And then these bigger conventions, they're just jam packed. When I went to Rose City Comic Con a couple of weeks ago, they limited people. I heard that it was usually a lot more packed, but it wasn't bad, and everyone, with the exception of maybe like one dummy, wasn't wearing a mask, and it was nice. I didn't have to yell at anyone,
which is nice. Also, I need us to flash up the comment by Joram, because I feel that on a very major level.
This one.
So story time, fun time, story time. My biggest regret in comics ever made. Baby Comic Mars was just getting into comics, you know. Saga, when did Saga release? Like 2012?
2012. It was the 20-year anniversary, okay. So it's going to be the 30-year anniversary.
So this was like my first year of reading comics, if I'm being quite honest with you. I was still heavily reading DC Comics. I wasn't really reading any sort of indie comics or anything like that. I remember going into a comic shop up in Philly that I had regularly shopped at. My one friend, who was an employee there at the time, was like, hey, this new book called Saga just came out. I need you to pick it up and I need you to read it. Now, remember, Baby Comic Mars is still very broke, is very cheap with her comics. She's not spending dumb bitch money, and she's being very self-conscious about things. And I picked it up and I'm flipping through it. And I got to the page where Prince Robot is fucking his lady robot.
Yes.
And I believe that this is before Mars got a little freaky deaky, and that's okay. Because I shut that book so fast and was like, oh no. No. I can't do this. That's too weird for me. I'm done. Let me shut it. I put it back on the shelf. I had Saga #1 in my hands.
Yep.
In my hands, and I put it back. And now I'll never own a copy of Saga #1. So it's fine. It's cool. Biggest life regret right there is putting away Saga #1, because Prince Robot having sex was very scary for me at the time.
Can I tell you my Saga #1 regret?
Oh, goodness.
So, I knew that Saga was coming out. I heard the controversy, like Apple Books wasn't going to put it in their shop, and maybe like another one wasn't going to like promote it digitally because the cover shows Alana breastfeeding. So there's a little bit of controversy there, and I'm like, I need this. I picked up Saga #1, and I had like the first couple issues. Had it. My cat at the time jumped up on my table, knocked over water, spilled water all over a whole bunch of comics like Saga issue #1. Several years ago, I ended up buying it. I ended up buying the first 5 issues for like $300. It was like, I think $350 plus shipping. I bought the first 5 issues because I was missing the first 3. So I'm glad that I did, but yeah, that's my Saga regret, is that I had it and destroyed it. But now I have a different copy now, so everyone just needs to pick up these comics. Like,
they need to pick them up.
Moral of the story is just go ahead and spend money on comics.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just when you go to the comic book store and you're like, should I pick up this issue #1? Remember me in the back of your brain and be like, Jennifer said I could. Jennifer gave me permission on Sunday to pick up this comic. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah. 100%. That's also very, very jealous, Scott. Thank you,
Yeah,
Scott.
that's a very big flex, Scott.
Very
So
big flex. Thank
yeah.
you.
Um,
So the last bit of news that at least I have on top of my head is another thing that spiraled out of NYCC. So I was telling you backstage this week, I was thinking a lot about Archie. I don't know why, but I was thinking a lot about Archie. Probably because I just recently read Vampironica, and then I saw all the ads for all of these like really cool Archie titles, because it was during that weird like Archie reboot time with Mark Waid and Fiona Staples that we were getting a lot of Archie titles. We were getting books like Jughead. We were getting the whole Archie horror universe. We were getting
Afterlife.
We were getting Archie meets, Blondie, Archie with the Ramones. Like there was a lot of just really fun and silly titles.
Blossom 666.
Blossom 666. There was a lot of fun stuff, and it feels like, especially ever since we've started our show, it feels like Archie Comics has been mostly quiet and mostly silent.
Yeah.
And it made me think, what's going on with Archie Publishing? Well, Archie Publishing came out and was talking about, the upcoming state of their comics, that they are coming back in full force. They were talking about how they are embracing the complete ridiculousness of Riverside or Riverdale, which is a total trash dumpster fire on CW. If you've never watched it, just pick an episode, just watch 15 minutes and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
They're embracing that side of comics, which makes me a little sad, but I also get chased that money. They talked a little bit about Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and how that's returning. And, we haven't seen that. It's another comic that's been on hiatus for a long, long time. And that will be dropping finally next week, which is so exciting. But the thing that made me audibly scream out last night is there was an announcement that we were getting a new book that was called The Occult of Sabrina.
Ooh.
And what made me kind of scream about this is the fact that, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, it's a comic book that we all love. It's fantastic. One of the best horror comics ever written. Went on hiatus. We didn't know what was going to happen. It got picked up by Netflix to be adapted into a show. Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, who was the one who wrote the issue and kind of founded that whole Archie horror universe, basically announced to fans that he had no plans to return to Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which we all know now that was a lie.
That was a lie.
That was a lie. And that if you wanted to see how Chilling Adventures of Sabrina were to end, you would have to watch the show. Me, I hated it. I didn't like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I personally felt attacked and betrayed. I wanted the rest of the comic.
Yeah.
Chilling Adventures of Sabrina gets canceled on Netflix, and now Occult of Sabrina is supposed to be a comic that picks up the events of the show, which are based on a comic that was canceled because you want it to focus on the show. And it all just, I need a whiteboard because it just doesn't make sense. Somebody explain what the fuck is going on.
I think that it's just chasing after money. And I think it's, so what I will say is that I really enjoyed the first season of Sabrina, but then I feel like the second and third seasons just went a little bit too twee drama. Like to me, it felt more like Riverdale than it did the first the volume of Sabrina, the comic book Sabrina, because that was really freaking dark.
It was.
So I feel like the show wasn't as dark. So I'm hoping that they're okay. So let me get this straight. We had Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the comic book got canceled, and then they started focusing on Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the show.
Yeah.
It got canceled, and now we're doing the Occult of Sabrina, the comic.
The comic. That is correct.
I'm still going to pick it up.
Makes no damn sense. But we're also still getting the continuation of actual Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And that was even funnier. I know that that's not a word, but that was even more funny because, my best friend, Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, and listen, the only reason I know how to say his name perfectly is because last year on my channel, I did a whole big video essay about the Archie horror universe and everything that went down with that. So if you want more information on what I'm talking about, definitely go check out that video.
And if you're not already subscribed, you better be subscribed to her channel.
That is my plug for the day because I put a lot of work into that damn video. But Roberto Aguirre Sacasa is like, yeah, with Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and I think it's issue number 14 that we're getting or something like that, or maybe it's only issue 7. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be 7. I think it's 7 for Sabrina and 14 for Afterlife of Archie, which at this point we're never gonna fucking get.
Yeah,
we're never gonna get Afterlife with Archie, and I would
Okay.
sell my soul for that one.
Hear me out. Just give me the gay Archie play. Give me the gay Archie play that Roberto
Aguirre Sacasa.
Give me the gay Archie play that he originally did. That's what I need to see.
And if you don't know what I'm talking, if you don't know what Jen is talking about, there's information about that in the video I did too. So,
yeah,
plugging. But he said about the return of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the comic, the original comic, it's almost going to be like you already know what's happening because a lot of the stuff happened in the show. So it's like, what is going on? That's all I need to know. What is going on?
I'm glad that they're doing a comic because I feel like that's something that I can pay attention to. The show, I feel like I lost interest in the show. Season 2, I lost interest in that. So I'm glad to see that they're doing a comic. So everyone needs to put that and Saga on their pull list.
For sure. And then create a craft circle for the return of Afterlife with Archie, because I would give my life the return of Afterlife with Archie.
Yeah.
I would give my life.
Any other news other than, Bearded did bring up earlier that
and I did miss
you two are going to be hanging out together at Baltimore Comic Con.
So excited. Listen, Greg texted me. My little dumb baby brain didn't realize that, him asking if I was available for shooting was meaning that we were going to be in town during the same time. So I am extremely excited. It's going to be my first person of the comic book community I get to meet. I wish it was you, but
sorry, Greg.
Greg
I'm
is
her
a
favorite.
really, really close second. Okay. I love Greg so much, and I can't wait for us to scream about Yara Flor in person. I'm ridiculously excited.
I love this so much. That was one of my favorite things about the convention too, other than like thinking about hunting for books, but getting to like meet people in the community and like meeting people who are in the chat. And I think that was my favorite part for sure.
And you're also in Portland, so it's like everybody is in Portland, it feels like.
Yeah. It's funny because Scott yesterday were talking about that, about how like there's so many like comic and just like nerdy podcasters and video casting, whatever the fuck it is that we do here. There's a lot of that here. So it's
very exciting.
Well, I do have this was a lighter week than normal on the comic book front, the variant front, but it means that I actually did read pretty much all of my comics this week.
That is a big deal for you.
It is.
Oh
I was this close. I like even had them like set aside. I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get through some of my backlog.
I'm proud of you.
Lie detector test determined that was a lie. I did not get through any of my backlog, but I did.
It was a light week though, as Greg is stating in the comments. It was a very light week. Maybe not for you, but I guess for everybody else. It feels like the next couple of weeks are going to be a little light, which I guess is kind of good because, with conventions and things like that, I kind of need a break, but so what do you want to go ahead and talk about first? We want to do, because I, surprisingly enough, have one DC and one Marvel, and the rest are all indie.
I'm going to talk about this one first, because I know you don't have it, and we were kind of just discussing it. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the Archie Halloween special. It was really cute. It's a one-shot and like a little anthology series, so maybe there was like 5 stories in here. Really cute, like just the gang getting into shenanigans and all sorts of like little puns were made. It was cute.
But it's more like classic Dan Parent Archie versus more modernized Archie that we've been seeing lately.
100%. Like it's not like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina or Afterlife or anything like that, which is what I'm used to with Archie. This was just straight up, you pulled this off of the shelf of the grocery store. That was this comic. So I read it. I enjoyed it.
Very fun. Okay. Very, very nice read to get you into the spooky season.
Yeah, it was adorable. let's start with DC. Can we start with DC?
We can, except I didn't read my one DC book. So the only thing that I picked up was Are You Afraid of Darkseid?
Okay.
This was an oversized one-shot anthology that was $10. I was really, if you were here, I was really excited for this when it was
I
first
remember
announced.
that when that was announced, I was
We
like, oh, this
ranted.
is so
I was
cool.
so excited. I thought it was just going to be this giant tale about Darkseid, and it was going to be the children talking about Darkseid from, a childlike perspective, because he is a scary motherfucker sometimes. And then it turned out that this was just their normal Halloween anthology, which I should have seen that coming. But it was just their normal Halloween anthology, except it was kind of disguised as this larger sort of thing, as it seemed like the Teen Titans were kind of telling stories around the campfire, and then in those stories was our anthology. Unfortunately, I did not read that for that reason. I think because I was a little disappointed that I was like, I guess I'll read it when I read it.
Yeah. I flipped through it. I liked it. It definitely. So they're playing off the like Are You Afraid of the Dark like TV show title, where it's like all the kids are sitting around the campfire like telling each other like these weird scary ass stories that honestly like I partially blame for growing up as a weird ass adult, because they were weird horror stories. I was disappointed that this was so teen focused, like Teen Titans focused. The first story is like Harley Quinn, and she's like, "Don't say Bloody Mary in the mirror," and so Darkseid starts talking about Bloody Mary from the Furies, and I thought that was kind of cute. But there's one story in here. What is it? The Endless Stairs. I just thought was absolutely beautiful. So I think that one was my favorite. Yeah, the Endless Staircase. The artwork in this one is absolutely beautiful.
That was the Phantom Stranger based one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I really liked that one. But otherwise, it needed to be maybe spookier. That's what I was hoping
It
for.
was just your average Halloween themed one, you know. If I'm being quite honest, I feel like we as a populace, we don't expect much out of these big anthology series. We do see them from both DC and Marvel. It feels like sometimes Marvel tends to have the upper hand, but DC, if you're listening, I want a whole Are You Afraid of the Darkseid? I just want fun times.
And I was really surprised while flipping through this. A lot of the names that are mentioned here are not big names, where I feel like last year's Halloween special had like a Swamp Thing story by Rom V, and I felt like there was a lot bigger names, where here I don't recognize a lot of these names. Maybe that's a good thing because they're up and coming and they're giving them a chance, but I really would have expected a lot more like bigger names. But so the other ones that I have for DC, so I lied when I said that I had read all of my books, because I did pick up.
Oh, she lied. She picked up, and now she's left me stranded. I did not pick up any other DC books this week. Jen, please come back because I am scared. Oh, there she is.
Sorry about that. I did pick up the Wonder Woman 80th anniversary. I picked up 3. So I did
then
get those.
You didn't pick up, and I'm actually surprised you did not pick up the new. It's a Batman title, but it's Gotham by Dan Waters. You didn't pick that up?
I did pick that up.
Okay.
Yeah, I got that one. Because I actually have a couple of DC titles here. The Arkham City.
What universe are we living on, folks, where Jen has more DC titles than I do right now?
Yeah, but I actually really loved this one. So it's done by Dan Waters and artwork by Danny, which is the creative team behind Coffin Bound, and I'm blanking on one of the other ones, but this one was actually really good. I loved the artwork. It's after the A-Day events where the bomb is dropped on Arkham, and like basically all of the people in the Arkham Asylum die. Maybe a couple got away. Dealing with some of the aftermath with that. Ratcatcher is in this. So yeah, I'm really surprised that you didn't pick this one up, because it was really good.
I looked at it. It's one that it just didn't seem like it was for me. It felt like it was going to be a very, very dense book that I was going to have to really push my way through.
It was very dense.
I personally was not a fan of Coffin Bound, so knowing that it was the same creative team, I was like, I'm going to skip on this one, and if one point I pick it up at the library, then I'll pick it up. I think that the premise is really neat. I do really like seeing that we're getting a lot more Gotham stories without Batman, because Gotham really is such a rich place. It's got so much character. There are so many different people in Gotham City that I feel like need the spotlight more than Batman, you know, because he's got 27 million spotlights on him already. So I do absolutely appreciate the concept.
So I have two others. So I got Swamp Thing because of course it's issue 8. I'm not gonna, it's good. Please pick it up. Like, just pick it up. It's so good. It's done by Ram V. It's telling this beautiful story, and we're getting to see this like beautiful side of Swamp Thing, and we're also getting to see like the world that he's in, and it's fantastic.
Did you hear that there's supposed rumors that Ram V might be coming back for a season 2 of his Swamp Thing run because of the success it's getting right now?
I have heard that, which I'm very excited about. But I'm also here to pitch. I want Rodney Barnes doing Swamp Thing.
Rodney Barnes for Swamp Thing.
Rodney Barnes for Swamp Thing. He's writing Philadelphia, and he is just a powerhouse. And I'm not saying that just because, like,
not because we've hung out with the dude.
Not because I've gotten to like hang out digitally with him, but he is a huge Swamp Thing fan. And man, I really, really, really would love to see Rodney Barnes in the Swamp Thing universe. So maybe even like a Justice League Dark with Swamp Thing. I don't know. That's where I'm at. I really love Ram V on Swamp Thing, but please let Rodney Barnes do Swamp Thing. So that's my pitch there. One of the other books, DC books that I got, and you're not reading Nice House on the Lake?
What do you mean? Oh, wait, I did pick up another DC book.
I know. So I always forget that it's DC as well.
I always forget. I did pick up another DC book. Yes, I did pick up Nice House on the Lake. This one, I believe, is the... it wouldn't be the penultimate. That's a new word that you're trying to teach me. I don't think we would consider that a penultimate, but I do believe that this is the last book in the quote-unquote arc, as the book is, I believe, going on hiatus.
Yes, and I because it's, from what I understand, it's going to be 10 issues, and this was issue 5, so I'd imagine this would be the last one of the arc, not the penultimate, but the last one of the arc. I believe.
I just like saying that word.
It's my favorite word. I mean, the C word is also my favorite word, but penultimate is the one I can share on screen. So
this was every time I read this book, every time I start it, I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna drop it, and then and it happens. It feels like it happens with every issue, and then right in the middle, they do some crazy wacko shit. And it just keeps dragging me deeper and deeper. And I just want to know what's going on. And I have so many wild and insane theories, but I feel like none of them are going to be right on this one.
Yeah, this one, I don't necessarily want to spoil it, but we're learning like each issue. So this is issue 5. Each issue, like, we're learning more and more about the world. We're learning more and more about the characters in the world.
We're learning new rules, and I think that goes alongside with the characters. As the characters are learning new rules, so are we as readers.
Yep. And so with this one, at the very end, we learn, like, there's a very big, like, shocking twist end at the end of this one, which seems to be like every single issue, which is fantastic. But if you're not reading it, like, seriously, please get on it. If a trade comes out, please pick this up, because it's fantastic. Yeah, for sure. I have one other DC book, Soul Plumber.
I didn't pick that one up. I don't know, man. It just didn't grab me when I was flipping through it at the shop.
I could definitely see why. This one 100% reminds me of 90s and maybe 2000s DC Vertigo.
Okay.
It's so weird. This kid who works at a gas station is like a born-again Christian and ends up getting misled by a cult, and it's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. That's like the only thing that I really know what to say about it. It's really, really weird, but it was so good. And
and this marks the return of, I believe it's the return of Hill House Comics, which we thought was dead and then suddenly decided to rear its ugly head.
That just says DC
Oh,
Horror.
it just
There's
says
no,
DC Horror.
yeah, yep, no Hill House as far as I can see here. And it's really weird because this is obviously a misprint, because Soul Plumber here, if you can see, says 1 of 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this copy that I have for Soul Plumber says 1 of 5.
Ooh.
So someone at DC fucked up. You fucked up.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No. So someone tell me, is it 1 of 6 or 1 of 5? Anyways, it was really good. It was really weird. You can kind of see it like poking fun at like religion and the way that people like obsess over religion, which I think is just, it's funny. It's very, I don't know how else to describe it. This, honestly, I'm surprised isn't published by like Heavy Metal Magazine. I don't know why this is a DC horror book whatsoever, but it was fun and it was interesting.
Very fun.
All right, that's all the DC books that I have, and it feels like my stack is like half of what it was. Do you want to go to? Do you have any Marvel books?
I have one Marvel book. I have one Marvel book that I initially ordered for the cover, but I'm actually kind of glad because that means I got to read issue 2, and that is Dark Ages #2. And of course, we all know I bought it because there's a very special somebody on the cover.
Which cover? Which cover did you get?
The one with Laura Kinney. Yep, that one right there. So I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna seem very bad, but it's not as bad as you think it is, I promise.
Yeah.
This was the first book that I read, and I read this book on Thursday night. I remember liking the book, but I don't really remember what happened.
There is a lot of parts in this book.
There's a lot of stuff going on
where I feel like Tom Taylor definitely glosses over. Like it'll be like a month has gone by or several weeks have gone by, and it just feels like maybe there's a sentence talked about, and then it's like we move on to the next part. Like that's what it felt like in here.
And I think where that problem lies, and this is what I was thinking about, because there's a lot of characters in this. There's a lot of stuff going on. For those of you that weren't following along with issue 1, we are literally in the Dark Ages. So all electricity, all electronics, superheroes that were electronically powered. Everybody is in the, Dark Ages. That's the name of the book. This feels like Marvel looked at Tom Taylor and they saw the success that he's been having with world building at DC with Deceased and Injustice. And they were like, hey, can you do that for us? But rather than give him almost like an unlimited budget where they were like, okay, you can do this across however many years you want. You can do this over, multiple spin-off series tie-ins. They were like, we're only going to give you 5 issues to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this book is struggling because Tom Taylor prides himself, I believe, on like doing really weird what if world building. I mean, we saw with DC, what if Superman became evil and the DC Comics universe was at war with one another?
Yeah.
Deceased, what if the DC comic characters were zombies and they all had to survive the zombie apocalypse? He's very good at creating these what if scenarios. And I feel like he's trying to do that for Marvel, but being limited to 5 issues, it's very hard to do so. So I'm hoping that Dark Ages, because I am enjoying this. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up past issue 2. As I said, I only picked up this issue because of the cover. But it is definitely one of those books where I'm like, okay, if I see that in trade, I'm going to pick it up because I want to see what's going on. But I'm really hoping that Marvel greenlights more spinoffs or even a longer ongoing or limited series for Tom Taylor on this.
I agree. I would really love to see more of this. And I think that's why there's moments that we forget about because it's like a longer period of time in the comic book that just kind of gets glossed over. And there's a lot of character groups in here because like X-Men, Avengers, like all of them end up coming together in this world. And then, spoiler alert, at the very end, Apocalypse shows up. So I'm excited to see where it goes, but I would love to just see an entire series set in this world instead of just like 5 issues. So,
100%.
And give me all the cool variant covers and I'll buy them.
100%.
So I'm a dumb bitch. I did get one other Marvel book, and that was Eternal Celestia. It's apparently the origins of the Celestials. It was pretty good. I can definitely feel like the Jack Kirby influence in this book, but it suffers from Kieran Gillen because he's doing that thing where it's like, I'm going to narrate what's going on while the character is also saying something on the panel, and it goes back and forth, and it's really hard for my brain to like pay attention or to really give a shit what's going on when it keeps getting broken up. So I wish that Kieran Gillen was better at doing the show us, don't tell us. So I feel like I'm being talked to
show,
and not
don't tell.
But the artwork is beautiful in this. I do like the character development, but I wish that it wasn't as much like talking about it and then them on the panel. So anyways, I hope that this ties into whatever movie's coming out. I can't even tell you whenever the Eternals movie is coming out, but
sometime in November, I think.
Oh, that's a little bit closer than I thought. Excellent. Man, this stack is, the rest is indies.
Significantly smaller.
Yeah.
So what do you got? Because I only have 3 indie books.
Do you want to go by, let's save the one we know we're going to talk about the most for last. What I would really love to talk about, this one ended, I know you weren't reading it, but Aubrey Sitterson's The Worst Dudes. It ended. It was really cute. I liked it. I hope that people pick up the trade when it comes out because it's a weird, wacky book. I think that if you like Saga, you'll like Worst Dudes because it's that weird.
Oh, it's got that weird, I don't want to say weird sex vibe, but it's got a weird sex vibe.
It's got a weird sex vibe. Yeah. Yeah. It's not as sexy as Saga, but it likes to fuck. This book fucks.
This book fucks.
I really hope, so Dark Horse, hear me out. If you need a pull quote for the trade for this, please, if I can get my first pull quote on a book just to be, this book fucks, comics will break your heart. Please, you can use that. There you go. Did you end up picking up by Mad Cave Bountiful Garden?
I did not because I was really disappointed in issue 1.
Issue 2 is still good, but I feel like I didn't get enough.
Okay.
I needed more. This may be one of those books that's just is better in trade, I think. And I think at this point I'm going to wait for the trade on this one because it's good, it's interesting, but I needed it to pump up the volume. So put weird sex stuff in it and I'll read it. I don't know, don't do that. It's a book about kids. Scratch that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I don't need to get canceled. So anyways, Bountiful Garden, it's pretty good. I'm going to pick up the trade. Other book that I got. Did you get Out?
I did not. What is that?
AWA Upshot.
Okay.
This maybe kind of spoils things a little bit, but it's basically about people fighting in World War II, and there are zombie vampires. I feel
zombie vampires. Okay.
Yeah. It was all right. I'm not going to pick up issue number 2. I needed womp womp. It just felt like one of those stories like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. If that makes sense. I'm really into like alternative history stuff like that, but this just didn't do it for me. Sorry. I've got 3 books. You go with the next one.
We'll talk about this one because I actually really like this one. This is Chicken Devil #1 from Aftershock. I didn't like this book in the beginning because I feel like the beginning is very hard to follow.
Kind of, yeah. It goes like a little bit of back and forth without telling you.
It does a little bit of back and forth, and it gets very confusing. I will say the artwork from Hayden Sherman, I absolutely adore. I think it's really fun. I think it's really, really stylized. I really like, I feel like this is something we never talk about on this channel, but I really like the lettering in this comic.
Oh,
The lettering in this comic is a lot of fun. There are a lot of parts in this that feel very hand lettered. So
I gotta check that out.
when we go to places, there's like little things that are handwritten with
Oh,
arrows pointing to them. I think the dialogue from the characters is just a really interesting font, and I don't know. I really like this. So Chicken Devil follows the story of a guy who has a chain of popular hot chicken restaurants, which I want some hot chicken now. I really want
I
some hot
really do.
chicken. So he owns a chain of hot chicken restaurants, and it turns out that his partner has been working with some gangsters in smuggling cocaine in their secret chicken recipe.
It's not cocaine, it's heroin,
Oh, it's
because
heroin.
if that
Okay.
sounds familiar, hot chicken being smuggled, drugs being smuggled in chicken, if that sounds familiar to Breaking Bad, they do mention that, and
They
they're
make a
like,
Breaking Bad
they make a
reference.
Breaking Bad reference, and they're like, well, we don't have meth, we have heroin. This isn't Breaking Bad. Like, there's a little joke about it, which I'm glad they did, because if you heard that review and you're like, oh, that's basically a Breaking Bad spinoff, this is much different than that.
It's much different. It gets very weird.
Yeah, in
So
a
our
good
main
way.
character has no idea that his partner has been up to this. He gets met by these dudes. He's like, hey, you have so much time to get us this much money. He immediately decides that he's going to put his family on a boat and try to get them as far away as possible. Spoiler alert, his family dies. And now it's a matter of, how do I deal with this? But I think the part that really dragged me in is not only just the way that characters talk to one another, but the fast-paced, how fast-paced this book is. You really feel like you're in the main character's shoes, because a lot is going on at once. You're trying to process all of these different emotions. I think this book does a really great job at conveying this. But I think what really sold it for me is when the main character decides he's going to visit his mom, who we find out is in prison for murder, and he's kind of asking her advice / what do I do? What did you do? And I just feel like that's a trope that we don't see a lot. It's always, I'm going to visit my dad in prison who did this.
Yeah.
It's never my mom.
It's time for equality.
It's time for
Women
equality.
can be in prison too.
Women kill people too, okay? So I really liked this, and I feel like the way that this book ends, it ends very suddenly and on something, because that was one thing I was thinking while I was reading it. I'm like, how is this book going to hook me?
Yeah.
And it does. So this kind of has, I feel like it's kind of go this like John Wick-esque arc.
Ooh.
And I really want that. I love the fact that this book is just wacky and crazy and kooky. And I mean, if you're having a book called Chicken Devil, it needs to be crazy.
And so, like, if you didn't already notice, because I don't think that we really mentioned this, the guy is wearing this like crazy ass chicken costume, because that's like the mascot for his chicken
restaurant.
And one of the things that I feel like Aftershock does really well, depending on their book, for instance, in the book Knock 'em Dead, they end up doing this thing where they like interview comedians, or they just what was the one? Anyways,
I didn't even notice what the back end of this book was, because Aftershock does do that with their number ones.
They've got like a cute little menu, and they also have a so the place is called, the place that he owns is called Mitch's Hot Chicken, and it's like our story. So I just thought that was really cute. And then of course the menu, and I think we all need to harass Greg, because he does like a comic cooking series on his channel.
Ooh,
he
Greg,
needs to do he was saying, he's like, oh, well, I can go ahead and like, I can do some chicken easy, but there's a special sauce on here. And you even see on the bottom here, there's like different levels of sauces. I just thought that was, and the last one is called The Devil Made Me Do It. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. It was interesting. Are you going to pick up issue 2?
I don't know. I really liked this, but I'm starting to, fun fact, spoiler, y'all, your girl's planning to move in January, so I have to cut my budget significantly.
Yeah.
So if you've seen lately, I had a couple people message me and they're like, Mars, you've been so picky with everything lately. There's nothing on your pull list. And I'm like, yes, you're right. I have been extremely picky. There's a lot of things that I've been hating lately, and I feel like I've been in kind of a comic rut. But I have also been extremely picky with what I am putting on my pull list, the amount of variants I'm allowing myself to buy, because your girl's got to become a little bit of an adult now, and I got to save up some money so I can move into a nice place and have a really great studio set up. So,
Yeah.
it all depends. I think I have to go through and cleanse my pool list a little bit, because there's a lot of things on there that I haven't been liking lately. So, depending on where I fall, I might add this to it, because I did. And the more I think about it, I really, really did enjoy this.
Yeah. Well, if you need to just cut, if I was going to say cut everything but one title, I would say just make sure Saga is on it for January 26th.
Saga's definitely going to be on it.
Saga's coming back January 26th. Make sure that is on it.
Saga will be on it.
One of the other books that we both read that I really, really enjoyed, surprised this was Oni Press doing this one. And I think that this was maybe one of my favorite books of the week.
This book was
Rapture.
made for you. This book was honestly, I was reading it. This book was made for you. It really was.
It was. So the premise is there's basically this young millennial girl who she dies or has a near-death experience. I couldn't figure out which one it was. I think she's got a near-death experience.
I think it was a near-death experience. Her heart stopped, so you can take that what you will as she did die for however many seconds, or it was just a near-death experience, but her heart stopped, and that's why she's experiencing this now.
So she ends up with this. At first, it was like she can just talk to the dead, and like dead people are just kind of like annoying her, and then it turns out she can carry dead people inside of her and bring them somewhere else. So say they die in a small town that they're like, I hated this small town, I want to get out, I'm dead, I don't want to be stuck here. She can transport them to other places, and she's like, hey, this costs money, you need to somehow give me money. And like maybe it's extorting.
I just like the ideal that there's somebody out there blackmailing ghosts for money. I think that's funny.
That's essentially it. And so at the end, she ends up meeting this woman who is in need of her services. And it just, at the end, there's kind of a twist ending, which I thought was really fun. The whole premise was fun. The character build up, this character really is just one of those shitty characters, not likable, really, kind of a bitch, which I really appreciate. I 100% identify. And it's done by Oni Press, which is kind of weird because I feel like most Oni Press stories are a little bit more geared towards kids, where there's drug use, there's death, there's like sex.
And I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that with you. I'll talk about that. But
go for it.
Real quick, my thoughts on Dirtbag Rapture, because I was really excited about this book. I love Christopher Sabella. So, you know what, we'll just segue there because you were talking about Oni.
Yeah.
We're talking about Christopher Sabella. I'm going to go on my soapbox real quick because Crowded from Image Comics, Heartthrob from Oni. These are both Christopher Sabella books.
That's right.
These are probably titles that are within my top 10 favorites. Top 10 favorite, at least indie comics. Absolutely love these titles. Crowded, lesbians, killer Kickstarter crowdfunding. It's really fun, really millennial, really juvenile, but in a really fun, ridiculous way. Definitely read that. Heartthrob. It's a book that has probably made me cry the most. It deals a lot with mental illness, heists, sex, drugs, set in the 70s, set to the Fleetwood Mac album Rumors of all things. It's got 3 volumes. It's one of those sleeper hit titles, and it's from Oni. Please pick that up. Back to Dirtbag Rapture. I was really excited for this because I love, as you can tell, I love Christopher Sabella. I did not love this title as much as I loved the other two, and I think the reason for this was a very, very dense first issue. I personally felt like this issue didn't want to end, and that could be a good or a bad thing. Well, that could be a good or a bad thing depending on who you're talking to. For me, it was like, I kept reading it and I kept flipping, and I'm like, is this an oversized issue? Because it doesn't feel oversized, but it
Yeah.
does feel oversized at the same time. I think the premise is really, really great. I personally think that this is one that I'm going to have to read in trade and I'll really love. But the one thing I really can say and appreciate is we have a fat babe as the main character.
Yeah.
How many comic books can you think of that are not faithless? No, faith. That are not faith, that feature plus size fat babes that are
That I
cute
think
as hell.
that I think that are, like, you're right, like, because she cute, like she
Cute.
dresses fashionably, she's got her cute hair,
And Faith was focused on her weight. This is just,
Yep.
hey, there's a fat girl in a comic and she's got this ghost power. That's it. We don't bring it up. I want more of this. Listen, I'm chubby, I am cute some days, but I need more fat babes in comics. Thank you. That's my pitch.
Yeah, I agree, because like, it's not, like you said, centered around her fatness, and it's not like afraid to show her owning, like, herself. Like, I think a lot of times, I was just talking about Game of Thrones and, like, the queerness of it, where like, the only, like, gay people that we get, there's, like, just jokes made at their expense, and, like, there's no jokes, nothing like that. And I think that, like, even one of my favorite parts, like, she's in a hotel room and it just, like, shows her in pajamas, so
and
it's not like,
I wear pajamas like that.
I wear pajamas. I identify with that character who also wears pajamas.
So I definitely have to give that up to, I don't know if that was maybe a decision from Christopher Sabella. I could definitely see him doing that because he tends to be very self-conscious in a lot of his character designs. But I definitely want to give a lot of that credit up to Kendall Good for the representation, and just thank you for letting this fat babe feel represented.
Yeah.
So, and also thank you for making me highly consider split dyeing my hair, which I know would be an awful decision because I know how much it takes to maintain that. But listen, your girl kind of wants a split dye now.
It's really cute. Like, you can see her hair here. Yeah. As someone who, like, tries to maintain a color in their hair and it's not really working out that well, the split color looks so cute, but I don't think that I have the time,
energy, management, money.
Yeah.
All of the above.
So the last book on this list, I'll let you go ahead and talk about this book, but I have to say really quickly that on Tuesday, was it Monday or Tuesday? Monday. I got a text from you, Mars, and it was basically just you screaming in a text about this book. And then Tuesday, I get a message from John's Comics with Kids, and he's basically like, I really think Mars is gonna like issue 3 of the Me You Love in the Dark. And I'm like, oh, I already know she loves this. And I literally sent him a screenshot of what you had texted me, and he was like, she also sent me the same screenshot. So
I did.
Tell us
why. The Me Love in the Dark. The Me Love in the Dark. Why. Okay. So Monday morning hits, I get an email from Image Comics, and it's their press release kit. I very rarely read the press release kits. Because I'm buying all the books anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I'm lazy. I should really start reading the press release kits more often because it would save me on time instead of trying to read everything Thursday night.
And money, if you're trying to save money.
And money. So that's another thing I should start doing. But I'm sitting there and it's in my email and I'm like, I should wait. I should wait until I have the physical copy in my hand. But I'm like, I can't. I need to know. So I read the Me Love in the Dark. All right, I'm saying it now. I don't even care. I know I've already said this maybe twice this year. This is book of the year, 20 out of 10. I love this book so fucking much. This book was literally made for me. And I'm so mad because I almost passed up on this book. I almost was like, oh, Scotty Young book. Okay, it's a cute goth girl going to live in a house. I'm not going to read this. It is 5 issues, unfortunately, and I fucking hate that. Give me 1,000,000 issues. Where do I start? Okay, Me Love in the Dark.
The monster. She fucks the monster. She fucks the monster. She fucks that monster fucks. Pull quote for the Me Love in the Dark from Mars. from that comic girl. She boinks the monster. That's the text that I got.
That was
She
the
boinks the monster.
That was the text. Was Jen. I read the Me You Love in the Dark -- 3. She boinks the monster. 20 out of 10 book of the year. Repeat, 20 out of 10 book of the year. This book feels so fucking personal. I don't know. All right, time fact check, y'all. I am and don't tell my partner this because then he's gonna think I'm a giant sap. I am such a hopeless little romantic. I love romance books. I love not cheesy romance movies, but like, y'all sent me down with some Pride and Prejudice, so I'm gonna cry my eyes out through the whole damn movie. This is so sweet and so kind, and they're just so in love with each other. And you see them doing really cute things together. They're watching movies. They
making popcorn.
They carve pumpkins together. Listen, that's my one disregard for this issue is I feel like they glossed over the Halloween section. They spent more time
been a Halloween issue.
They spent more time in Christmas than they did in Halloween, and that makes me mad. But at the very end of the issue, we learn that, they've been considering it, and she finally invites him to sleep with her. And I'm like, what's good in the hood? Yeah. I'm very happy for her.
Show me what that tongue thing do.
I don't think we're going to get to see anything. I feel like issue 4 is just going to be like them laying in bed and just post sex. But hear me out. Scotty Young, Jorge Corona. I'll buy it. I would like a director's cut. The Me You Love in the Dark 3.5 extra large XXL edition, because I fucking love this book. I would buy 1 million copies if I could. I recently learned that apparently there was a bunch of retailer variants for number 1. So now I am on the hunt for 1 million retailer variants, because there's one that pays homage to the Shape of Water poster, and I'm like, well, fuck me, because that's what this book reminds me of. This book reminds me of
the Shape of Water with ghosts.
It's the Shape of Water, but with ghosts. So if just please read this book, because I didn't think they were gonna boink. I was like, they're not gonna boink. You even were like, oh well, what if it's just like a platonic relationship? And I would have been okay with that, but I really wanted to see some boinking, and we got the boink.
Boink.
It's got the boink seal of approval. Me and Jen were joking the other day that we should create a comics like master list where it has all of the issues that feature boinking. So that may or may not be a thing that happens, because I feel like there should be a master list of all the comics that have boink.
It's like up here, but I think that we need to give the people what they want, and they want to know what monsters fuck. This monster fucks. Joram asks, you think the monster is a cuddler or make me a sandwich type? He is definitely a cuddler. He is definitely, we've already seen it. He is definitely the type that makes her tea or coffee in the morning, depending on. Do we know the monster is a he?
I think we actually do, because I was thinking about that. I think we do. I think we get those pronouns. You know what? I'm going to do a reread tonight. It's fine. I'll reread it for the 40th time. It's fine. I'm 90% sure for research. I'm 90% sure that we do get pronouns, but I'm going to double check.
Okay. I need to know.
I want more books like this. Hear me out. I need 1 million more, not necessarily like 1 million more of this particular series, although I will take that. I just want more sweet monster romance books. That's all I want. Monster, ghosts, whatever, more paranormal romance books.
Yep.
That aren't just like, saucy romance novels.
I need saucy romance novels.
I want saucy romance novels for comics, though.
Saucy romance comics. That's basically Saga, right?
I need more of that.
Yeah, for sure.
In Saga, everybody's paranormal.
That's what we're saying.
In Saga, everybody's paranormal. Also, yes, why not gay monsters?
Gay monster. I mean, that was supposed to be Hollow Heart, and it didn't pan out.
And there it is. This is what we wanted Hollow Heart to be.
Yeah.
This is literally what we wanted Hollow Heart to be. So those of you that followed us in our adventure at the beginning of the year, excited about Hollow Heart, and we're disappointed by Hollow Heart as we were. This is it. This is it.
Yeah. That is all the single issues that I have. I know you said that I ended up buying like 6 or 7 trades this week.
You did? What
I
did you
did.
buy?
Let me go ahead and make sure I have all of them here. Because there's a couple, like there's one that I'm like, I really think Mars would like this book. Okay.
I
And I know
it's the same book that I bought.
Oh, okay. I may be missing one right here, but I did get the Sensational Wonder Woman, so I did buy that trade. I got Orcs in Space because I got the first 2 issues maybe, and it was fun. Oni Press. Also, I Breathed a Body. This may have been from last week, but it was a series that I really enjoyed by Zach Thompson, who did Lonely Receiver, which was also another one of my favorites. Also by Aftershock. I picked up the trade of The Silver Coin. Love it or hate it. My issue that I really loved was still going to be issue 2, where it's like the girl at the camp. I also picked up on Tyranny. There was a free comic book day where it basically shows you lessons in fascism and how to spot it and what to do when fascism inevitably comes to your doorstep. So, and it's done scrapbook style,
Nice.
if I had to describe it. So I really enjoy that. But the book that I got that I'm like, I really think that Mars needs to read this is Stars Hide Your Fire.
Okay, that's not what I picked up. What is that?
Think of the future. You excited, you scared, you excited and scared. Andrea and Dara have just started high school in their dead-end Massachusetts hometown with no clear idea of life after graduation, but a chance encounter with a spirit named Carmen promises to make sure their future is bright. However, a strange boy named Liam warns the magic comes at a price. Now the future they want is in reach, but are they willing to sacrifice their friendship? It is definitely gay. It's definitely
nice.
Horror, spooky, sci-fi. So
love that.
Yep. Yeah. So I started reading this and I'm like, Mars needs to read this.
Very exciting. So the books I picked up, I have a lot of library books because I'm just going insane at the library lately. But I did pick up one book for myself. And that is, I'm actually surprised you did not pick this up. This is Squad. From Lisa Sturl.
I couldn't, so my shop didn't have that. My shop also, for some reason, I either didn't pre-order or they didn't get in the first volume of Ultra Mega. So I need to make sure to pick up Ultra Mega. And if I can find that, I definitely will. Because it looks so good.
I am just ridiculously excited for. This is published by a smaller indie publisher. It's Green Willow Books, which is an imprint of HarperCollins Publishers. It's basically described as a sapphic werewolf revenge love story.
Like Mean Girls, but like lesbian werewolf.
Lesbian werewolf. So this is perfect for spooky time. It's also done, the artwork is by Lisa Sturl, who we have both been loving on Witchblood. Yeah. I absolutely love Lisa Sturl and her art style. I love how vibrant and colorful all of her pages are. And I'm not a big werewolf person. Like, listen, in the war against vampires and werewolf, I will always be Team Vampire. But I'm really, really, really excited for this one.
Yeah. I'm just going to leave this comment up forever.
Why not Gay Monsters? Other books that I picked up from the library. This is Archival Quality. This is from Oni Press.
I've never read that, but I've always wanted to.
I've never read it either. So I saw it at the store. Was like, okay, spooky time. Ghosts. Why not? So picked that up. Really excited to read that. Picked up, because again, spooky time, Jughead the Hunger. I've read a couple. I've read a bunch of the Archer Hari books, but I have never actually read Jughead the Hunger. And I think, again, because I'm Team Vampire, not Team Werewolf. Yeah. I picked up this, which I'm very excited for. This is Junji Ito's Cat Diary. So it's supposed to be like a satire-esque book, but it's supposed to be like Junji Ito's cats, which
it is
I'm really excited about.
As a cat owner, these 2 cats are my cats. Like, I read this and I'm like, that's my baby boy Malcolm. That's my baby boy Luna. This is probably one of my favorite Junji Ito books.
I'm really excited to read it, and it's really small, so
yeah,
it's gonna be really quick. I have a goal where I try to read 100 graphic novels a year. I'm falling behind right now. So I'm hoping that adding some smaller stuff will help me cheat my way to the finish line. It's fine.
Yeah.
Points are all made up. It's fine.
You know, it was like maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, I think that there's like 105 days left in the year. Do I think that I could do 100 graphic novels by the end of the year? And
You're
I
insane.
could if I actually read all the fucking books that I pick up. But I haven't. I'll maybe make it to maybe 50 more at the rate that I'm going, but I won't be able to. I don't know. I've lost count of how many books I've read this year.
I always try to keep track. And I feel like last year was the first year I was actually able to hit my 100 graphic novel goal. And I think that is purely because we were in the pandemic. So hopefully I can at least get myself close, because usually I'm only a couple books shy.
Yeah, same with me, because last year I did 100 graphic novels in 1 month, but that was also because I took vacation. I broke my foot. We were in the middle of a pandemic, so I was like able to do those things. But yeah.
Unstoppable Wasp, I picked this one up. I've been really wanting to read this one because I've seen a lot of things, I've heard a lot of things, that this has a really great depiction of Nadia having bipolar disorder, which is really important because, you know, sometimes I feel like maybe I might have bipolar disorder. So I really just like books about mental health. You know, Heartstopper, Moon Knight, you know, so any book that I can get my hands on that's about mental health, you know, is really great and important for me. And then I broke my sacred rule.
What's the sacred rule?
I guess it's not sacred, but it's just an unspoken rule. If you know me, I'm not a big fan of comics that aren't in the modern era. So things that are post like 2004, I personally just really, really struggle to read anything not modern. However, I broke that rule twice because I picked up Carnage Classic.
Ooh.
You know, I saw Venom. I am now obsessed. I need more Venom Carnage. So I was like, this seems like a good place to start.
Really quick. I am probably going to go back and read Venom. And the reason why is because apparently it's the gayest shit ever. Apparently, like, that monster fucks.
That's what I heard. Are we talking about the Donny Cates one?
We're talking about the Donny Cates Venom.
That's what
apparently,
I've heard.
Like, they both get it on and are like in this beautiful romance, and no one told me. Like,
maybe we need to read it. Oh, you mean like nobody told me? I meant to talk about this during our news. So segue, you know, did you know? And I brought this up to my partner the other day. You know, we're just casually hanging out, chill Saturday. You know, I'm doing my makeup and I'm like reading the news as I'm doing my makeup, and I lean out and I'm like, did you know Wolverine has 2 dicks? Who in this universe knew that Wolverine had 2 dicks and didn't want to tell me?
What? How do we know this?
Apparently, it's been hinted at a lot in different comics and on different comic book covers that Wolverine may or may not have 2 penises. And I quote, one for fucking and one for lovemaking. I don't know what the difference is between those two. I wouldn't mind being on the receiving end of both.
Wow.
But
yeah.
I want to know. Listen, I went through a Wolverine phase last year, and y'all were very supportive of that Wolverine phase. But nobody told me that he may or may not have 2 dicks. So I need somebody to confirm
this.
Somebody confirm.
Here's something that not like recently, it was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, but you know, this is the Star Trek nerd in me. So apparently Klingons have 2 of everything, like 2 organs of everything. Nice. And it was confirmed in Star Trek Discovery that Klingons do in fact have 2 dicks.
Nice.
So
that's just what I've heard. The chat apparently doesn't really know. I figured somebody would know because y'all seem to be X-Men hungry in this chat. I figured the X-Men queen over here would know, but apparently not. So
I don't.
You know, if I've made an astounding discovery, great. Love that. Fantastic.
Maybe hear me out. Maybe it was confirmed in some of the info dump, a Hickman info dump. Like there's just a small like Wolverine has
2 dicks.
Yeah, so he's like, I saved one of them for Jean and one of them for Cyclops.
Nice.
I saved the fucking one for Cyclops and the love-making one for Jean, or vice versa.
Or vice versa.
We need to do research. So
what has our show become? It's just a horny monster show. It's fine.
It's been this the entire time.
So I'm really excited to read. I'm really excited to read Carnage. Because there's something special about like older Spider-Man comics, I feel, especially when we get the symbiotes. They get to be very cute and very wacky. So I'm hoping that will sort of help me with, you know, my struggle to read newer or older comics. Sorry. But the one I really am breaking my vow for is, you know, your girl's trash. I'm accepting it. I'm gonna push my way through it. I'm gonna struggle my way through it, but I'm starting to read Vision and the Scarlet Witch. This compiles Giant Size Adventures #4, which is the issue where they get married. And that issue was painfully boring, aside from the part where he asked her to marry her. But you know, it's all good in the hood. But it also has the miniseries of Scarlet Witch and Vision, and it's very cute. And from the first issue alone, I'm like, wow, WandaVision really took a lot of fucking inspiration from this series that I just never even realized. So definitely, I know I sound like a broken record because I'm sure everybody else and their mother has said it with the hype of WandaVision, but I mean, we also got this reprinting because of WandaVision. But if you were a fan of WandaVision and want more, this is going to be your first stop. So that was all my exciting stuff.
That's exciting.
I have a lot of reading to do.
You really do. And I feel like there's been several books where like you'll pick it up or I'll pick it up and I'll be like, oh, I've been wanting to read that. Let's read it together. And then it just ends up on the massive, like I am not joking when I say that. So the bookshelves that you see behind me are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like shelving, what do you call it? Levels. I could probably fit an entire to be read stack on I could fill an entire bookshelf with my to be read books.
Probably.
So 100%. Now I need to do even more reading because I need to find out, does Wolverine in fact have 2 dicks? Does one of them have like an adamantium like bone in it? I mean, dicks don't actually have bones, but they're more like cartilage. But a girl can dream.
A girl can dream.
And sure. I also really need to know, is Venom and Eddie Brock, are they like
100%?
I need it confirmed. So we've got a lot of reading to do. We have
a lot of reading to do. A lot of Hoxpox to not be read, which story time, y'all. Story time. Yes, I'm calling you out. So, friends, gather around, listen.
If you were here for previously on Comics Sunday chat, I
bullied.
I'm going to continue bullying you into reading Hoxpox, and part of that was
Sunday after the show. I get a text from Jen. Hey, what is the comic shop you worked at? Meaning the comic shop that I go to as well, because they're one and the same. And I texted you, and I was like, bored a game. Didn't even think to ask why. I go into the shop the next day because I'm hanging out and playing cards, and I see on the back end a copy of Hoxpox with a big old sticky note on it. Like,
that says hold for Ryan. That says
hold for Ryan, which is one of the employees at my local shop who I'm very close with. I was like, that's kind of weird. Looked at Ryan, was like, hey Ryan, is this being held for you? Because he occasionally holds books for himself. But I distinctly remember Ryan has already read Hoxpox. I'm like, Ryan, is this being held for you? And he's like, no. He's like, I'm holding it for a customer. He's like, I'm like, I'm like, did a girl call up here a little while ago asking about Hoxpox? And he just looks at me like I'm crazy and I've got 20 heads. How would you know that? I'm like, because it's my co-host and she's trying to force me to buy Hoxpox. So yes, please know that in Jen's extreme effort and attempt to get me to read Hoxpox, she called up my local comic book shop, tried to get my employees, well, not my employees, but my local comic book shop workers to hold and pay for a copy of Hoxpox so that I would be forced to bring it home and read it. She is a ninja, except she got caught really fucking fast.
I did, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you pesky kids. Okay, so here's my story. So I called the store and I was like, hey, can I go ahead and like, because I went to their website and I looked and I searched and I couldn't find it.
It's not a very good
It's
website.
it's not a very good website at all. Like 0 out of 10 would not recommend. And there's more to this saga. So I know that you said that you wanted to buy, like that you were looking at buying the hardcover for your partner, and I was like, no, I'm going to go ahead and buy like maybe both, like maybe the hardcover and the soft cover as well, so you both have a copy.
I didn't even know that it was out in soft cover. I just thought it was out in hardcover.
Yeah. And so I call and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to buy this book. Is there any way that I can just buy this book and just have it there for someone to pick up? And he's like, well, we don't do that over the phone. You're going to have to come into the store. And I'm like, well, I can't do that. Like, I don't live there. And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, so you're telling me there's no way that I can just like pay for something over the phone, like give you my credit card? And he's like, no. And I'm like, he told me that I couldn't. And so I was like,
could have done it through PayPal.
Well, I went on the website and I couldn't find it. So the website has like, there's this like I searched X-Men, I searched Hickman, I searched House of X, Powers of X, all of that. Couldn't find it. Even went to like, they have like a section for their trades, and there's 5 things. Saga is one of them. So if you haven't bought Saga, you can buy it from Born to Games on their website. So Saga's there for you to purchase. And he's like, well, you can always purchase it on the website. And I'm like, no, you can't. Like, I looked and I'm like, maybe am I just not looking for it? And so he searches a couple things. Basically, it sounds like he's doing all the same searches that I had just done. And I'm like, okay, you can't find it either. It's not just me. And then I'm like, well, and I was on my lunch break at the time. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, I know you guys are about to close. Can I maybe call back tomorrow and see? And I think he said something about buying a gift card and then purchasing it. I go to buy a gift card on the website. Sure, you can buy a gift card, but they're going to charge you $15 shipping.
What?
They're going to charge you $15 shipping for a gift card that I literally just want to like have them put into. And so I'm just like, I'm going to find a way.
Plans have been foiled.
Yeah. I'm going to find a way to get it. But they do not make it easy. How do I pay for it via PayPal? Like,
it would be, it's very funny. You'd have to contact probably the owner who I'm friends with, and I will tell them, don't do it.
Just let me buy the fucking book. Just type in my credit card number, beep, 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 boop, slip it in your file. I was even going to like seriously buy a gift card, but there was $15 shipping. And I'm like, well, there's no place to say that like, I don't want it shipped and I just want it put into your thing. And I'm just like, screw it.
Too much.
I'll find another way.
Except now I have Saga to distract her, guys. So we've made it in the clear for a little bit.
For all of like 2 days. That's it.
2 days.
Yeah.
We've made it.
Yeah.
We've made it, y'all.
Yeah.
It's never a dull moment between me and Jen. That is for sure.
Between monster fucking and Hoxpox and Saga. This is why people come for the casualness and then stay for the violence. That should be our tagline. Like, come for the casual chat, stay for the violence.
Because that is what it is.
Yeah. Anything else coming up for you? I know that you have plans today.
I have so many plans. I'm going to a pseudo Halloween party today, so it's just a small get together for a friend's birthday. But you know, they're like, it's October, let's all dress up. So I have a little sneak peek here for friends and family down below. But if you can guess what it is that I'm being, I'm very, very excited. So we'll spend the majority of my day getting into character for sure, 100%.
Yay! That's awesome. That's beautiful. I know, like, I had seen some pictures of the stuff that you were going to buy online, so I can't wait to see it like all together.
Very excited.
Excellent. I know that I have been just talking about all the videos that I think that I want to go ahead and like just film and then
Same.
edit. But I just never do because I'm horrible at shooting and editing, and then even just like the writing part. I'm just not very good at. So I'll just stick to reading. Find out next episode which monsters fuck if Wolverine has two dicks. Also,
I don't know where Jen was going on these thoughts. Oh no, Jen has left me unattended. Do y'all ever, as a child, get left at the grocery store? You're waiting at the register. Your mom says, wait right here. I'm going to grab something else. And everything's slowly going on the conveyor belt. And you're like, I don't have the money. Where is my mom? That's what it's like whenever Jen leaves me. You ever have one of those feelings, Jen? You ever have one of those feelings?
I missed part of that, but I basically caught that like it's like you're at the grocery store, everything's on the conveyor belt, and then you're like, wait, where's mom?
Yeah. It's exactly where mom says, I'm going to go grab something. Wait right here.
And then you're just like doing the prairie dog where you're like,
where's mom? I have no money. Yes, that is the anxiety that I get every time.
Wow. Okay. That's funny. I'm going to think about that every single time. So I know I was talking about, just editing stuff, but you can find us here every Sunday. Please do the like and subscribe thing. Please go to Mars channel and the video, the Archieverse video. Please go and watch that because it's fantastic. And hopefully some more videos to come. You can also see me hanging out with some friends. We're rereading Dune Messiah, so we're almost done, the third part, and then hopefully we'll be watching the movie soon. And then you can also find me on Fridays over on Will the Beast Fitness channel. It was on this channel this Friday because Will the Beast was gone, so you can find me doing that, talking live about comics on Friday night. It's like Saturday Night Live, but funny, and on Fridays and about comics. Alrighty. Well, hopefully the weather gets cooler. I'm excited for Halloween. And I hope everyone has a wonderful, beautiful Sunday. And we will see you later.
Bye.